everyone. Welcome to another lesson on Google Classroom. Boys and girls, this week has been a blast. I always love Earth Day week. I enjoyed listening to the Lorax and learning about the once-learn, how his actions affected the environment and the animals that lived there, and how the Lorax wasn't too happy with him. I enjoyed doing the pollution soup demo and seeing which waterway would be polluted quicker, the storm drain or the household drain. And then yesterday, I got to show you one of my favorite YouTube videos I've ever put together with Rod, ending the path to the patch with my Solaire group from 2 years ago. And now it's Thursday, and I wanted to do a lesson about, sorry, one sec. There's someone who, wait, Rod?
Hey!
What are you doing here?
Fancy to see you here.
Yeah, I didn't expect this one bit.
What's going on here?
I was actually just telling my students all the cool things that we have done for Earth Week.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't totally sure what I was going to do. I knew that there was this project here in Chilliwack with habitat restoration. And you know what? I think you might know more about it than me. So do you have a second?
I was just getting ready to go fishing, but sure, I can answer a few questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to interview you. It might be more than a few seconds, but let's do this.
Okay, I'll do my best to answer the questions.
All right. So let me just pull the camera off. We got to be, oh, here we go. Okay.
That's good, yeah.
6 feet.
Yep, we're good.
So we've been talking about Earth Day.
Yep.
Do you have any ideas on how kids can give back to our planet we live on?
Yeah, so Earth Day is all about giving back to the environment, giving back to Mother Nature, right? And here, we actually have a prime example of that. This beautiful creek right here. Surprisingly, this is actually not natural. This was actually not here a year ago. What we're looking at was actually all dry. It's dry land over here. So, can you believe it?
I can't, because I see the rocks look perfect. The logs, it has logs moving water. Who made this?
Yeah. So it looks like a beautiful creek, and this was actually built by hundreds of volunteers. It took years of planning and building to create this creek. And the reason we built this creek is to create habitat for baby fish, for baby salmon, for trout, for amphibians, and I guess also insects and wildlife in general.
But I thought that just to the, I guess it's the left of you, right of me, there's the Chilliwack River. Why wouldn't the fish just live there?
So just over there we have a big river. But think about it. If you are a little baby fish, would you rather spend your time in a big river like that? Or would you rather spend your time in a little quiet creek like this?
I'm going to say small.
Small.
Right here. I want to live there.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is actually a nursery for juvenile salmon and trout, because this is where they can rest very comfortably, and they can find insects to eat very easily, and they can find shelter to stay away from the predators as well.
Oh, that's why the logs are there. And my kids know that, because the logs will make it so the fish can hide, but it also keeps the water cooler.
That's right.
Cool.
So yeah, so the fish can actually hide underneath the logs, and believe it or not, I mean, in this area, we right in kind of the cities over there, but we have coyotes coming down here, we have raccoons, we have herons and eagles, so they come down to feed on the fish as well. So it's nice to have a place for them to hide.
Okay.
And if you look along the riverbanks, you can see the big boulders. Do you know what those boulders do?
Rod, I have no idea. What do they do?
Yeah, so it's actually hold the riverbank together. So when it rains, it prevents the sediments being washed down into the river. So it doesn't, we don't have sand covering up the gravel. And
which they use for spawning?
Yeah, which they use for spawning, and so it wouldn't suffocate the eggs.
Oh, perfect. It gives a lot of oxygen to them.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing you've noticed is behind me is that we've planted lots of little trees. And the trees actually hold the soil together, but they also drink a little water. When it rains, they actually suck up quite a bit of water, so the water doesn't go into the river right away.
Okay, so the trees take some of the water, so the water doesn't rise so fast. Because what would happen if the rivers suddenly just came up? They got really big, then they went back down.
Well, if the river comes up really fast, we're gonna get a really fast moving creek, right? And that's gonna wash away all the insects, wash away all the fish, and that wouldn't be very good, would it?
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah. And the other thing that trees do, again, is shading. So once all these trees grow up, it provides shading, they produce oxygen, and it makes it a really nice and cool creek for the fish to live in. Now, believe it or not, as I mentioned before, this used to be dry. So a year ago, this used to be dry, but a couple hundred years ago, this used to be water. What we're standing on right now used to be water.
What? But if it used to be water and now it's dry, how did the water leave?
Yeah. So as you can see, we got houses behind us, and how do we build houses on water? So what happened was, if you pour water downhill, what happens?
The water goes wherever it wants to.
Yeah, it doesn't go on a straight line if there are no barriers. It actually goes down like that, right? So the water actually expands, it spreads out, goes down as it goes down the hill. So that's what happens in a natural river. So water comes down from the mountains, and as it comes down into the valley, into the floodplains, it actually spreads out into the whole area, right?
Oh, Rod, I get it, okay? So what you're saying is that over 100 years ago, or 100 years ago, this used to be all water. But when people moved in and made houses over there, they didn't want to build their houses on water. So what they did was they built these big barriers so that it controlled where the river traveled, and this dried up all the land and all the habitat for the baby fish.
Yes, unfortunately, as we dry out all the land, that took away all the homes for the fish and the amphibians and all the wildlife as well. Right?
I'm so glad that Chilliwack's giving back. That's awesome.
Yep. So we've done quite a bit of damages to the area, and but it's never too late to give back. So that's why we created little creeks like this for the fish to come back to live in, and that also brings in all the other wildlife as well.
Well, thank you so much for teaching me and my students about this project. This is so cool. I want to go for a walk up this and see more.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's like I say, this is not only it's good for the wildlife, but it's also good for us as well. It's nice to walk down here just to take a look in the water. If you stand here very still and if you look in the water, most likely you'll see a fish going by eventually. So it's really nice to see.
And what kind of fish are in here, Rod?
So like I said, there are salmon, there are trout, there's steelhead, baby steelhead, there's sculpin, there's lamprey, pike minnows, many different species use this river. And it doesn't just benefit one particular fish, and you all know about the food web, which, you know, a big fish will eat the small fish that are living here, and a eagle or heron will eat the bigger fish as well. So it's benefiting all kinds of wildlife.
Oh, that's awesome. And what a great way to help and give back to the earth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So little steps makes a huge difference, boys and girls. And you can do that as well in your hometown. You can go down to your river, and if you see things that needs to be done, you can contact your local groups and get volunteering and make a difference.
I would love to do that, Rod. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it looks so great too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for teaching us, and I wish you all the best fishing.
Yep, I'm going fishing right now, and hope you guys have a good week. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Rod. And go find your fishing rod.
That's right.
Wow, I'm so glad that Rod showed up. He made my job a lot easier. I loved how he explained what's happening here in Chilliwack and the projects that they're doing out here in the environment. Now here's your job. What I would like you to do is you're going to draw a picture of the creek that Rod talked to us about. I want you to draw the animals that might live there. So remember, he talked about different fish, frogs, herons, raccoons. You can label them below each of the pictures, and then draw things that the fish need in the river. So like trees along the side, rocks holding the bank together, logs over it. Those are just some ideas. And then what I want you to do is write a couple sentences about something that you learned during this video. So when you have that all done, you can submit it to me at your time. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed learning with me. And once again, I hope you had a very happy Earth Week.
All right, everyone, thank you for watching that little segment we did for Kitty's classroom. It was really enjoyable for me to explain the benefits of giving back to the environment, right?
Oh, I love learning about it too. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, and celebrating Earth Creek, and I actually have a video documentary on this particular project going up my YouTube channel, so you guys should go check it out. And it's about how I guess the Wally Hole Fishing Derby, how anglers have contributed to this project, and how we can all work together to make things better. So
Let's all work together.
that's right.
Make things better.
Okay.